All right, let's get this day going.
Hi, I'm Kiana Harper, and this is Harper Explains It All. I run Harper Assists, a virtual business solution company, and I'm here to help you make your business clean, easy, simple, and humanized. Let's get into it. Okay, so today I want to talk about a subject that has kind of been bothering me lately. And this subject is finding out what works for you in a sea of content and a sea of information everywhere. So let me just start off by saying I have this problem too because I'm a big consumer of content and information and all of those things. It makes it very difficult to pinpoint new things that you want to try because you when you're a new business, you're just getting into it and you're kind of feeling your way around. You want to try to do the best that you can to attract the customers, the people, your clan, your community all around you. So in order to do that, you start to go look for the information that you need to, help you out. Well, I ran into this problem this week and I was having a hard time, like, for a change. I'm able to actually concentrate on my work. New branding, new website, new how I get my messages out there that I'm here and trying to grow on my social media platforms because I really don't post a lot because I post for everyone else. So because I don't post a lot, I don't think it represents what I actually do, if you get what I'm saying. I was just kind of scrolling through Instagram and for Harper's Assists. And my Harper Assist account is completely filled with just content information, structure information, ideas, different content creators that I absolutely love. And I got a little overwhelmed. And as I got overwhelmed, I got frustrated. And then I got worried. And then I hit the wall. Boom, wall. And that wall basically said, shut down. So today I'm going to just talk about finding what works for you in the sea of content. And we're going to talk about how that consuming so much content and so much information can really make everything chaotic with you. And everyone's always shouting from the rooftop, strategy, strategy, strategy. Post 5 times a day, post at these times, a hook, a platform. It's a lot of noise and it's drowning your voice. Let me just say that. The only way that I feel that I can convey this is to tell you about what happened with me. So about a few months ago, I decided that I wanted to do a rebrand and kind of focus on talking to other people outside of my clients that I have now. And because a lot of my clients are local people and people that I do get some people from off the internet that come and, want me to help them. And I do. But most of my clients are local, from my town. And honestly, sometimes I don't have time to do the things that I want to do within my own business. And so now that I've gotten everyone settled and I've got their routines and making everything just right, so when my onboarding process is A1 now, and I'm working on my website to reflect what I want it to reflect. When I first started Harper Assist, it wasn't on a fly. It was more of I already do blog. I already own Obsidian People Company, which is my blog. And that's where I talk to other people about artists, business people who are out that's locally or nationally, and talk to them about the things that they do. And just blog about the things that are in the news and talk about the things that, artists go through or things that I go through in my life. It's literally just a blog for Black creators and Black people. It's just blackity black, black, black. Let me just say that. And I did it that way because I see sometimes Black creators and Black artists don't get the recognition that they deserve. So within that, I got a lot of calls for me to write for other people. And so I start writing for other people, and then I start charging other people. Well, my 9 to 5, I'm actually a office assistant. That's what I do. It's a longer title than that, but I basically assist my boss in running business, and it's a small business. I run the day-to-day. I do the shipping, the invoicing, the quotes, the talking to customers all day, the doing things for customers all day, tending to the things that help run the office. For me, I thought that I could really use that. What I thought is, okay, well, I have all this office education, and I've helped my dad run his art business for over 20 years. And that's a small business. And my degree is in computer technology. That's my associate's. And business operations. That's my bachelor's. I have all this education. I have all this experience on doing these things. And I said, well, how can I help others? I'm running to all these different artists and people who are just absolutely amazing, and they don't have the systems to keep people coming to them or keep people looking for things that they're trying to do or get their name out there. And even if they do, it's like not done to represent actually what they do in their work. So that's where Harper Assists kind of fell in, is how I can help others, because doing certain things, you see stuff and then you see where people are lacking, I guess you would say, and you want to help them. So that's where Harper Assists kind of came in, and I just threw everything together. So with throwing that together, I finally was like, okay, I need to get this together. I started growing fast. I started getting clients here and there, people calling, and it's like, oh my gosh, okay. I need to sit down. I need to figure this out and how I want to run this and get my systems together. Because even at my job, I put those systems together, me and my boss. But a lot of the systems that we have, I've put them together, or I've done the forms and the this and the that to get the systems together. And even when I'm doing my own work, my personal work that I do for my job, I actually have a system that I go through to make sure things get done correctly and I'm not missing anything. So when I started to think in that manner of how can I use the talents that I have, organization and leadership, and knowing what other people's needs and what I see and knowing their needs, how can I help others? So that's where the sea of content comes. Because I didn't know how to convey my message and how I can get it out to other people, it was very stressful. And so I started to a lot of information. Even now, sometimes I still consume too much and I have to back away from the table. And it gets a little chaotic because it's so much. It's so many good creators out there with good information. And so that's when you have to kind of learn to shift through it with a fine-tooth comb and find out what works for you and what doesn't. And if one thing doesn't work, go on to something else. Okay, so the core message that I have here is that you don't need to try everything. You just need to try what actually feels right to help you get in front of the audience that you're looking for. Too much information can really be bad. Too much information can really make you feel inadequate. You see people doing certain things that you would like to do. It can take a shot to your ego, but I would suggest finding a few creators that you like in areas and then just follow what they do. Write down what they do. The content streets are loud. It's here. Everywhere you go, there's content creator. There's content being shoved down your throat. There's content here. And a lot of it is good. And then a lot of it is noise. Okay? If you're following 10 different creators and they have 10 different approaches and you love them and you think these are good ideas for you, it becomes overwhelming and you forget what your mission is and you forget what you need to do and how you need to do it. So you don't need more, you need to just filter. I filter. I have a couple of creators that I follow that I actually look forward to, like Letitia James. Absolutely love her. Modern Millie. Absolutely love her. Nikki, I can't think of her name. I'm sure you guys see her on your news feed. Nikki, baseball cap, really cute, long hair. Absolutely love her. She worked with Eric Thomas. I like her a lot. She's so awesome and she's so funny. So those are people that I follow, and like as far as like creators that I follow that are for like social media management, website design, what else? Virtual assistant stuff. I follow tools that I use daily. So, because I want to keep up with what the tools are doing, what the tools are, how they're performing, what upgrades they have, and things like that. So I follow a lot of that stuff, and I consume a lot of that content. But what I have done is I slowed down. I went through all the things that I want to do and what I wanted to achieve. And then I look for that content for those creators that I particularly like and follow and like the information that they get. And I use their information to apply to the things that I want. And I use what I think will feel right, and I ditch things that don't. I don't try everything. And so that is one of those things that can be really, really difficult when you're not knowing which direction to go. So I would say follow one or two creators, get out a notebook, put out your vision, how you would do it, how you want. Look through those creators' information that they have and use them for that information. If you get what I'm saying, like take that information from them on that subject that you're needing and apply it to you, instead of doing 19 other different ways. You have to know what you want, how you need it, and how you want it in order for it to actually work the way you need it to work. When you don't have an idea and you haven't even tried to get an idea, then that kind of makes things a little more difficult, because then you're looking for yourself in other people's content. It doesn't come off authentic. Everything ain't for everybody, okay? Like for me, the reason why it's taken me so long to really do anything with Harper Assist and getting videos and stuff out there is because I wasn't sure what message I wanted to say. I didn't know. I had to really sit down and think about if that's something that I really wanted to do, was go the route of video, because I really don't like being on video too often. But I'm thinking now that, it's not hard. It's really not hard. I think it's a matter of time and place. And, I don't have like the biggest, clear cameras, and I don't have the good setup like everyone else does. I do it right at my at my home, in my dining room, around my things. And so I'm showing up as I am. And that's all that people are looking for. And I think the new thing that is going to be the biggest for creators and people that are looking for that kind of stuff, I think the new trend is going to be authentic. You show up authentic. Always need to post 20 times a day. You post what's comfortable for you. For a business like mine, I try to focus on word of mouth and to try my hardest to advertise. But, like I said, it takes time to do a lot of the different things that I do and manage a family and manage a job and manage everything outside in my natural life. So I do what I can. If I don't get it out, I don't get it out. But in order to grow, you have to push through those hard times. And I do push through, and I do get the content and things that I need out. But timing, everything, organization. And I can say I'm an ADHD girl. Okay. So, procrastination. That's a big one. I have time to do just about everything that I'm trying to do, but things happen and you can't do it. Like mentally, you have to know when to just stop, take a breather, and recalibrate. And I do. Value my mental health. I value my physical health more than I value constantly being on the run. That have a fluid of doing the things that I do. But I also think, a lot when you're starting something new and you're stepping into new territory. And so because when you're stepping into new territory, you're consuming all this content and you're comparing yourself. So when you're comparing yourself to people who have been doing this for years and they have a team now and they have this and that, it gets frustrating for you and starts hurting your ego and you start going backwards. So what I say is, try one thing at a time. And if it doesn't work, throw it out and sign something else. Test a call to action this week, and that's it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Try a new system this week. If you like it, keep it. If you don't, throw it away. I first started out with Trello. Absolutely love Trello and still love Trello. But what I found is I need something a little bit more customizable to my liking. And Notion was one of those things. And I started Notion years before I even started Trello. But the problem was I was overwhelmed with all the things that I was trying to do and starting to do. And I felt like I didn't have time to learn the systems. And I got overwhelmed when I tried it and I didn't understand it. And I started to cry. And I said, forget it. Creator knows how to do planners. I wanted to make my own planner for Harper Assists in a way that I could do everything that I wanted to do. Click, look, and it was fun, and it was me, and it looks good. And I followed this creator, and I took 2 hours of my time and built my own from the information she gave me. And when I built it the way she did it, I was like, oh, this is so easy. It's really not that hard. And so I have the one that I built for her, but then I went ahead and I built one for me in the way that I would like it, in the way that I would use it, without a lot of the bells and whistles that she used, but I know how to do the bells and whistles. So I learned new things to use if I wanted to use them, but I didn't think I need to use everything that she had. So I didn't use everything that she had. So I just needed something more customizable. And that tool works for me now. Not saying that it may not work for me later, but as of now, I absolutely love to use it. And another tool was Metrical. For years, I used Buffer, and I love Buffer. Buffer to me is awesome. It's a great tool. It's very easy to use, but because I manage my clients and everything, Metrical for me seemed to be, for the pricing, it seemed to be a lot easier and better for me to use. So I looked up a couple tutorials on it and did my little research on it to see if I like it, and it was absolutely wonderful, and I love Metrical. And none of this stuff is, I'm going to say, none of this stuff is sponsored. I'm not sponsored by any of these people. I'm just honestly just saying that these are the tools that I love. And I actually run everything through, like all my clients, myself, everything is ran through there. So, I have my clients go to their Notion and they look through the content that I have for them for the month. They check nay or yay, and I create all the images for their stuff, and then I take it all and I schedule it. Now, I could probably do that all on Metrical, but some of my clients aren't very tech savvy, and I've gotten into positions with that where, I would do it all on metrical, and it would take forever for them to go and actually look and approve those things. And then I've already put in all the work to get it all together, and then they don't approve it. And so instead of doing that and the back and forth and not doing that, I batch it. They have to check it before I even push it over there, and then they can give their final checks over there after it's all done. And 9 times out of 10, they've already seen it. They already know what it is. I put it over there. They're like, yep, 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 yep. And I can go and do about my business. Sometimes I hate having to do the double work, but, sometimes you just have to do the double work. And pay attention to your data when you are using new tools. When you're using new tools and you're doing new posts, or you're doing new content, or you're checking out a new strategy, you might want to just check your analytics and to see how things go. Check your posts to see how many people are commenting or doing things like that, and that gives you kind of an idea of what works for you and what people like to see from you. And like I said, within a sea of content, you can try, let's say they give you 10 things that you could try one of those 10 and see how it works for you. A lot of people aren't very tech savvy, so I would say if you're not tech savvy and you don't know how to use the editing tools, and you don't know how to use this and that, or CapCut, or any of the tools that people use for creators, don't use them. Be simple, be easy, get your message out there. That's the biggest thing, is getting your message out there. I know everyone talks about, you need the best camera, you need the best lighting. Yes, you need those things. But when you're starting out, you do not need those things. Just get started. Get used to it. I had to learn that for myself, as I am in front of the camera now. And protect your peace, baby. Let me tell you, like I was talking about earlier, I protect my peace. When things get too hectic, when things get too stressful, when I've contained too much content and it gets a little stressful and my mind's like, I log off. I log off, or I'll find something funny to watch, or I'll watch TV, or I'll hang out with my husband, play around with my kids. Uno is a thing in our house. We do some Uno, eat some good food, and just chill. You have to, because too much content, it'll make you start comparing yourself and create anxiety within yourself. And then that's not good for you and your business. And this doesn't just go for people who are in the field of what I'm doing, as far as like a business strategist or business consultant, or whatever you want to call me. I'm a virtual assistant. That's what I call myself, but I'm a virtual business support person. Excuse me. So sometimes you just need to just close the app and walk away. Don't hoard all the tips. And what I do when I like something that I like, I have boards all through all of my social media things that I use. TikTok and Instagram are my two main ones, and YouTube. So in there I have boards for all the things that I like, and I put them in there. And then I go in and I'll say, I want to try this day. And I'll put it in there and I'll try it. If I like it, I like it. If I can do it, I do it. But for the most part, if I know that I'm not going to use it and I feel like it's too much, I delete it. That's simple. I delete it. And the reason why I delete it is because it's too much. Every day you find new content, every day. And you want to be able to take a rest from all that content. So don't stress yourself out. Take your time. Look at what you're looking for and just enjoy what you're doing. Too much information is too much. Pick 2 or 3 people that you can actually learn from. Remember, everything ain't for you, and that's okay. Try one thing at a time. Pay attention to your data. Protect your peace and log off. So those are the tips that I can give you with, consuming all the content and learning to deal with everything that's out here. And just remember, you're not behind, you're building. Be intentional, not reactive. And it's not about doing everything right. It's about doing what's right for you and what looks good for you. Keep it simple, keep it easy. And that's all I got for you today. So I just want to say thank you for taking your time and listening to me ramble about things that I struggle with, that you may struggle with. And I hope you understand that you're awesome.